On the way to Deer Valley, I was walking from one city to Deer Valley, from Peoria, Arizona to Deer Valley, Arizona. That took all day, like I said, took all night. But on the way there, I became very hungry again. I was starving because I didn't have any way really to eat at that point, and God knew it. God always knows when we're starving, when we're hungry. He knows that. Just like he says in the Bible, I know every hair on your head. I know every single piece of hair on your head. And I know every number of the hairs on your head. So only God knows such things about us. He knows us intimately like that. So he knew that I was very hungry. And as I was walking down the sidewalk, thinking, wondering what I was going to eat, how I was going to eat again, just like before. Another lady comes by, but she was walking. She had a couple bags of groceries in her hand, and she kind of smiled at me. She had a good attitude, and therefore I knew that she was a good person because you can just tell, you can just see it in people's eyes. And she looked at me and she said, somewhere down the way there, I dropped a few groceries on the ground. And she said, if you do find them while you're walking, you can have them. That's what she said. Now, I knew in my heart, because of what had just happened with the whole burrito situation, the breakfast burrito with the lady that gave that to me, I knew that this had to be another sign from God. And I'm not even sure if that lady knew that or if she did know that, because I knew the other lady seemed like she was in tune with God and that she knew that she was sent by God to give me that. In fact, that's what she said. But this lady didn't say that. But you see, the way God works, it doesn't have to be that both people understand what's taking place. She didn't even necessarily know that I was starving. This lady who dropped her groceries down the way there, maybe she didn't know that I was literally starving when she told me that I could have the groceries that fell on the ground. I mean, that's right there. That's another miracle that took place. So basically, like I said, I've seen things in my life. I've seen things that I can't explain. I've seen miracles take place in my life that just, like that one, for example, that cannot be explained. The chances, let's say we go by science here for just a second, the chances that I'm going to be starving at that moment and a lady's going to drop her groceries on the ground farther ahead as I'm walking and tell me that I can have them. The chances of that happening, I would say, if you were going to go by science, at the moment that I'm starving, that takes place. What are we talking? 1 in a trillion? 1 in a billion? I mean, that's what I'm talking about here. Miracle. It was a miracle. So, of course, I didn't want to, just like before, I didn't want to show too much enthusiasm. I just, I was kind of embarrassed about my situation. So I remember I just told her, oh, okay, I'll definitely do that. But in my mind and in my heart, I'm thinking, thank God. I hope I find those groceries because I was so hungry. Sure enough, I did find the groceries. It was a bag of chips, which I ate in like 3 minutes, man. Just scarfed those down, and then it was like some sausages, like some some kind of like a sausage type thing, and whether they were turkey sausages or not, I don't remember. But my point I'm trying to make here is, I ate those two, man. I ate the entire bag of the sausages, and by the time I ate both things, I was full. Like, you see, when you're starving, and I'm sure some people already know what I'm talking about, food tastes, it tastes almost, I would say, maybe 3 times better than normal. And so does water, by the way. So does any kind of liquid that you put in your body. When you're thirsty, everybody knows that water tastes better. When you're hungry, food tastes better. But I don't just mean hungry like, I haven't ate in a few hours. I'm talking about like not eating for like a day or a day and a half. When you have any kind of food at that point, the food tastes literally like 3 times better. So probably I could say that was one of the best meals I've ever had. And it was on the ground, like I said. I mean, I found it on the ground, but it doesn't matter. It's not like the bag was open and the stuff was all over the ground. I mean, it was in bags. But my point is, better than any meal I've ever had at any restaurant. I can tell you right now. When I had those, because I was so starving, I was so hungry, and That was the second miracle that took place within only a day's time. The first one with the burrito was like a day before that, and this one was a day later. So, what did I learn from these two experiences? That God is always watching. He never forgets where we're at. He never forgets what we're doing. He never forgets when we're hungry. He never forgets when we're thirsty. Other people, human beings, do forget. Other people, human beings, they don't necessarily care. They don't care if you literally, some people, I'm saying, not all people, but some people, if you passed out right there out of starvation or out of thirst and died, they don't care. But God always cares. God always cares. He never stops caring. And that's really the point I wanted to make with these videos here, is that even in your worst times in your life, even in your most saddest, most depressing, most fearful times in your life, God is there. He's there, and He provides for you, just like He said He does. Just like He said He does. A lot of people, they never really get to put it to the test. They never, because they are, they're always working. They always have just enough money to buy their food with and stuff like that. So they don't necessarily get to see the miracles take place. But a lot of them still do, even while they're working. Like, they run out of money. They don't have enough money for food for their children. They don't have this. They don't have that. And then they see it happen. But my point I'm trying to make is there are a lot of people that don't necessarily ever really get to put it to the full test. In other words, I'm starving. I'm going to die. What's going to happen next? What's God going to do next? I don't know. Nobody knows. And then, of course, you see a miracle take place right before your eyes. So I have no more question about how that works. I know that if I'm ever starving, and if I'm anywhere in the world, it could be anywhere in the world, I know that God will provide some way, somehow, a meal for me. And that's in the Bible too, and it talks about that. How God would feed His people sometimes when they were in the woods and stuff like that. He'll just drop food for them literally out of nowhere, and they would eat it. But anyway, that's another video. We'll get into stuff like that.